Where the sun parches the scorched earth, life is never freely bestowed. Here, every passing day is a grueling test of endurance. No cloud this profound web of interdependence. Every action triggers an inevitable consequence. A single error leaves a lasting scar upon the landscape. Nature offers no special favors to the weak. It operates by its own uncompromising laws. Before dawn breaks over the dense woodlands of Kruger National Park, a toxic shadow stands motionless amidst the high canopy. A female leopard, the ultimate icon of mystery and fluid grace, is on the prowl. In the world of the leopard, trees are far more than mere resting places. They are watchtowers, fortresses, and launching pads for lightning-fast ambushes. Draped in the geometry of shadows, her rosettes break the very outlines of her being. She does not merely hide, she becomes the forest itself. Through eyes of liquid amber, she reads the silent language of the grass, waiting for a single heartbeat to falter. Beneath the foliage, a herd of Impala drifts slowly into range. Every footfall is light, as if danger were absent from this hushed morning. She is tense, her muscles coiled and primed for action. The leopard drags her prize into the deep shade, then, with extraordinary strength, hauls it high into the canopy. There she will feed in seclusion, beyond the reach of hyenas and other opportunistic thieves. Solitude is no weakness. It is the very essence of the leopard's power. As heat blankets the grasslands of Kruger and the sun parches the earth, massive, dark forms begin to stir. These are neither lions nor elephants. These are Cape buffalo, horned titans that command caution from even the most seasoned predator. They move like a disciplined army in a tight, impenetrable formation. Each weighs nearly 2,000 pounds, their dark hides shimmering, horns curving like the iron helms of ancient warriors. They are no docile grazers, despite their appearance. Beneath that thick hide beats a heart that refuses to yield. They guard the collective as if life itself depends upon their unity. Calves huddle at the center, shielded by the herd. At the fringes, dominant bulls stand sentry, ready to charge into battle at a moment's notice. A lone lioness watches, mesmerized by the raw power radiating from those steel-like horns. She is fascinated by the raw strength of their spiraled, iron-hard weaponry. Once she lunged at a stray calf, only to be met by the thundering retaliation of the bulls. The lioness was badly wounded. It was a bitter lesson. Never confront the Cape buffalo alone. She is not the first predator to retreat before them, and she certainly will not be the last. The herd continues its journey as a mobile fortress, unglamorous and quiet, yet possessed of an unshakable resolve. As the sun begins to bake the Kalahari, a mob of meerkats emerges, standing tall like miniature sentinels. Tiny and nimble, they thrive in tight-knit clans, where every individual has a vital duty. They are renowned for their sophisticated system of vocal alarms. At the first warning from a sentinel, the entire mob abandons everything to vanish into the safety of the burrow. In a land of hawks and cobras, unity is the only way to survive. But not every alarm is genuine. Nearby, a fork-tailed drongo, a master of mimicry, watches. He imitates the meerkat's alarm, a perfect and calculated deception. He even varies his calls, imitating eagles or snakes, to ensure the meerkats never grow accustomed to his trickery. Sometimes they will imitate the sound of an eagle, other times the sound of a snake, a truly astonishing display of cunning. With one false cry, panic spreads. The meerkats abandon their hard-earned feast. Instead, they stand guard for the collective, even at the cost of their own hunger. Along the Atlantic coast, where brutal waves batter the South African shore, thrives a clamorous community, Cape Fur seals. Near Cape Town, upon moss-covered rocks, seals huddle together, their bodies shivering in the salt spray. Their collective roar, territorial bellows and calls echoes like a wild symphony of the southern seas. They were not born for combat, yet they are masters of survival. The Cape Fur seal possesses a waterproof coat and powerful flippers. Dominant bulls claim the rocks, guarding their harems. Pups are born into this chaos, with no sanctuary but their mother's side. Far from the Antarctic's flows, a strange story unfolds on the sun-drenched sands of South Africa. Among granite coves, African penguins have made a fateful trade, abandoning the frost for the searing sun. They are the only penguins on Earth to claim these temperate shores as their sanctuary. Standing less than 2 feet tall, they wear a tuxedo of black and white with a signature horseshoe marking. Survival in the heat relies not on feathers, but on pink glands. Above their eyes, a sophisticated cooling system. It regulates their temperature when the sun bakes the boulders throughout the year. In spring, shallow burrows witness one of the most enduring bonds in the natural world. Pairing for life, they return to the same refuge annually, nesting amidst the harsh wind and sand. Yet their greatest foe is not the heat, but a deadly silence from the ocean. But a shadow longer than night now falls upon these shores. A once vibrant chorus is fading into a haunting silence, as their lifeline to the ocean is severed by hands they cannot see. Two million voices have been reduced to a fragile whisper, a final plea written in the sand before the tide washes it away. Today, upon these ancient stones, humanity is learning to step back, allowing nature to heal itself. Every tiny nest is a final fortress, a silent plea for survival beneath the African sun. Their struggle is no longer against nature, but for remembrance, before they vanish forever. Across boundless grasslands, the towering forms of African elephants move like living fortresses. Majestic and silent, they walk powered by muscles and the weight of ancestral memory. In a world where breath and death are intertwined, they are icons, of wisdom and patience. Each herd is guided by a matriarch, holding a mental map of ancient springs and migration routes. Under her protection, the family traverses Kruger's woodlands to the Kalahari's scorched sands. Here, memory is the ultimate tool for survival, the only thread preventing their lineage from being swallowed. South Africa is a vibrant yet uncompromising tapestry of life. From the solitary leopard to the buffalo's wall of steel, all are caught in a cycle of tension that never truly ends. In this parched land, nature offers no mercy and knows no rules. Only those with an unyielding will and fierce instinct earn the right to see tomorrow's dawn. Yet, amidst this splendor, echoes of a crisis are beginning to ring out. Thinned colonies and the roar of the seals testify to a balance that is beginning to fracture. Habitats are vanishing, and giant footprints are slowly being erased by time. Nature does not need us to survive, but we cannot exist without it. In this epic struggle, certain creatures stand as enduring symbols of power. From the gargantuan African elephant to apex predators like the lion and the Nile crocodile. Then there are quiet warriors. To underestimate them is to invite a heavy price. One such is the Cape buffalo. One of Africa's largest bovines, the Cape buffalo is among the most dangerous creatures on the continent. He does not hunt, yet he strikes terror into those who dare to pursue him. Weighing up to 2,200 pounds, he is a mobile fortress of muscle and bone. His most striking feature is the set of horns that meet at the forehead to form a formidable shield. A natural boss capable of withstanding the full fury of an adult lion. Blending caution with aggression, the herd forms a living barricade, ready to counterattack. When threatened, the entire herd charges toward danger rather than fleeing from it. A charge from a mature bull can shatter bone and toss a lion several yards. Photographers have witnessed lions surrounding a buffalo, seemingly anticipating an easy feast. Yet in moments, the buffalo retaliates with fury, rescuing its kin and repelling the pride. Few prey species dare to resist so boldly, but the Cape buffalo is different. This is why hunters speak of him as the Black Death. Not because he hunts humans, but because he refuses to run, fighting to his very last breath. Dawn rises on the far horizon, staining the savannah with a layer of radiant light. Through the morning mist, a deep rumble emerges, a wordless challenge. From the silent herd, two mature bulls separate, locking gazes. This is not a battle of life and death. It is a struggle for status and dominion over territory and the chance to breed. To claim the title, there is only one path, an uncompromising test of strength. They circle one another like gladiators measuring their opponent. After 10 minutes, they clash in a duel that will decide the future for one of them. On the horizon, the low scrub stirs not from the wind, but the approach of a solitary giant. Each footfall resonates across the earth like a distant war drum. This is the southern white rhinoceros, the second largest land mammal on our planet. With a massive frame exceeding 4,400 pounds, he has no need for concealment. He fears no one. Upon his nose is a legendary weapon, a horn of solid keratin, which can exceed 3 feet in length. A single thrust can eviscerate a predator or even overturn a vehicle. Despite this terrifying power, the rhino is not a creature of war. He prefers solitude, living by a rhythm as ancient as his million-year lineage. Yet even a giant must defend his domain. When an intruder encroaches, a confrontation is inevitable. No roars or screams, only the thud of heavy footsteps and clouds of dust. Horns locked, they clash like the massive cranes of the natural world. Every impact sends tremors through the ground. Eventually, one retreats, wounded but with his dignity intact. The victor stands alone, snorting through massive nostrils to reclaim his land. Despite his solitary nature, the rhino is vital to the savannah's health. His paths create natural corridors for other species to find water and food. By grazing on short grasses, he prevents scrubland from overwhelming the open plains. Even his waste nourishes the soil, fueling plant growth and sustaining insect life. Amidst the dust of the African basin, a towering silhouette emerges from the haze. Majestic and deliberate, the elephant herd moves as a single, unified entity. At the formation's heart, calves find safety in the immense shadows of their kin. They do not just rely on strength. Elephants hear the earth through their feet. Through the very soles of their feet, they hear the pulse of the earth. These silent giants possess a wisdom that transcends the air, sensing the distant thunder of a coming storm or the ghost echoes of a wandering herd carried through the ground like a deep subterranean song. This is a display of intelligence and an unshakable matriarchal order. In this land, no predator is foolish enough to challenge a mature herd. At the distant roar of a lion, they instantly tighten their ranks into a circle of iron. £13,000 of muscle form an impregnable wall, shielding the young. Their coordination transforms the collective into the ultimate defensive machine. Their weapons are ivory swords in the largest individuals. Nearly 2 meters long, used both to explore the lifeblood beneath the barren soil and to deliver deadly blows. The skillful trunk, with its tens of thousands of muscle bundles, can gently soothe a cub after a long night of fear. But it is also powerful enough to bring down a lion in a single strike. Despite their deliberate pace, an angry giant can surge at 25 miles per hour. Their true power is not in destruction, but in their ability to shape the world. They are nature's engineers, creating waterholes and trails that sustain life. They rule through wisdom and empathy, forcing even the most arrogant lion pride to retreat. The rainy season in Kruger is also the stage for an explosion of new life. Every year at the beginning of the wet season, nearly all female impalas in Kruger give birth within a few weeks of each other. The newborn fawns, still trembling on their legs, are able to run within a few hours. It is a biological marvel, synchronized births that overwhelm predators. Impalas are a favored prey species, especially for leopards, which makes this synchronized birthing all the more critical. During the rainy season, impalas gather around water sources and open grasslands. They move in large herds to reduce the risk of predation. Their activity peaks in the early morning and late afternoon. But not all species only know how to flee. There are more complex societies where intelligence and unity are weapons against danger. Chacma baboons also take advantage of the short-term abundance of food during Kruger's rainy season. Carrying their young across the savannah, Chacma baboons forage while remaining constantly vigilant for leopards. With grass sprouting and fruit ripening after the rains, baboons gather in large troops to forage. Their defensive instincts are strong. Infants are kept at the center of the troop. And in the high canopy, other sentinels are also on duty, with a surprisingly complex alarm system. Another primate and a common resident of Kruger's woodlands is the Vervet monkey. Perched on rain-soaked branches, Vervet monkeys become the silent sentinels of the canopy. Their appearance is distinctive: a slender body, silvery grey fur, and a striking black face. When the rains fall and the trees flower and fruit once more, food becomes plentiful. Defense is an instinct from the youngest to the oldest individuals. When they spot a leopard or an eagle, Vervet monkeys emit distinct alarm calls. Research has shown that when they hear the leopard call, they run up into the trees. When they hear the eagle call, they look up at the sky, and for the snake call, they look down at the ground. While the ground and trees are filled with battles of wits for survival, the sky is a stage for dazzling, colorful dances. where the acacia trees stretch endlessly across the open savanna, standing like nature's sentinels. The Mara River winds, a fluid boundary between heaven and earth. The Masai Mara, a grand stage for one of Africa's most extraordinary survival plays. Here, the river is not just water, it is an arena. Welcome to the Masai Mara, where the secrets of Africa's most ferocious hunters are revealed. The Maasai, the heart of East Africa, beats to a steady rhythm, breathing life into its spectacular landscapes. In this wilderness, towering termite mounds rise like ancient fortresses. Standing amidst the grasslands, not just as natural formations, but as watchtowers for patient predators. The Mara River cuts through the plains like a deep scar, dividing the wilderness into two contrasting worlds. Its waters are not just a lifeline, they are a battlefield. Beneath its murky surface, the Nile crocodile awaits. A silent assassin, honed by time, with a relentless grip and a strike as swift as fate. On land, the lionesses move with the air of seasoned warriors, masters of the hunt, their every step a dominion over the savannah. Facing them, the spotted hyenas gather in ruthless clans, both relentless hunters and nature's cleanup crew. Deep in the thickets, the elusive leopard lies in wait, a shadow of silent precision. Its ambush is executed with a lethal grace. And across the vast open plains, the cheetah reigns. Its legendary speed turns every chase into an uncompromising pursuit. The vast Greater Mara ecosystem is a living tapestry of life, seamlessly connecting the Masai Mara National Reserve, the Mara Triangle, and the surrounding conservancies. This region, with an elevation ranging from 4,900 to over 7,100 feet, has a multi-layered landscape sculpted by valleys, rivers, and rolling hills. The name Masai Mara is derived from the Masai community, the nomadic people who have coexisted with this land for centuries. Mara in their language means spotted. The Maasai not only live here but have also become intrinsically linked to nature, maintaining their pastoralist lifestyle by herding cattle for generations. The Masai Mara is home to over 95 mammal species and 570 bird species. The savanna grasses, shrubs, and the iconic acacia trees stand tall. But the Masai Mara is more than just a beautiful landscape. In this story, the Nile crocodile emerges as the undisputed ruler of the Mara's deeps. This colossal predator is a legend in the wildlife world, capable of reaching lengths of up to 20 feet and weighing over 2,200 pounds. According to a 2024 IUCN report, the largest Nile crocodiles can grow up to 23 feet, making them the second largest reptile in the world. Each hunt is a masterclass in patience and unparalleled power. Under the scorching Masai Mara sun, Nile crocodiles are often seen lying motionless along the riverbanks. From 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., they bask, absorbing the sunlight to regulate their body temperature. When the water temperature drops below 86 degrees Fahrenheit, these predators retreat to the land. At night, as darkness envelops the Mara River, the Nile crocodile awakens. Every muscle is tensed, ready to strike with the precision of a compressed spring. In the dry season, when food is scarce, the Nile crocodile conserves energy by lying motionless in the sun. Its ability to store fat allows it to endure the harshest months, turning every meal into a crucial reserve for survival. The Nile crocodile reigns as the apex predator of its habitat, dominating its territory with few rivals. But can it truly challenge a Cape buffalo, a giant herbivore that can weigh nearly 2,000 pounds? These formidable creatures move in herds, approaching the Mara River with a stately presence, their sharp, curved horns glittering in the sun. With a success rate of only about 15% when hunting buffalo, the crocodile faces a difficult challenge. They often target the young or the old, weak buffalo that have strayed from the herd. However, Cape buffalo are fierce fighters. When ambushed by a crocodile, they do not simply flee. They turn back and confront their attacker. The most fearsome aspect of the Cape buffalo is their sense of unity. If one member of the herd is attacked, the entire group often turns back to counterattack. Another challenging target for the Nile crocodile is the Masai giraffe, the largest and most iconic giraffe in the Masai Mara. These giraffes are also the tallest in the world, reaching an average height of 18 to 20 feet. When a Masai giraffe bends its head to the Mara River to drink, it must splay its front legs and bring its head close to the ground, a vulnerable position. Therefore, Masai giraffes are always vigilant, lowering their heads to drink for only short moments, often 15 to 30 seconds to minimize the risk. Even in this precarious position, the giraffe is not an easy target. The Mara River, the lifeblood of the Masai Mara, is also home to one of Africa's most iconic giants, the African bush elephant. A member of the Big Five and the largest land animal on Earth, these elephants stand up to 13 feet tall and can weigh up to 15,000 pounds. According to a 2023 study published in the Journal of Wildlife Ecology, these elephants can learn and remember migration routes and recognize individual herd members. When the herds of African bush elephants approach the banks of the Mara River, every step resonates with dominance. These giants take over the shallows, where the Nile crocodiles have been waiting in hunger for months. In cases where a crocodile targets a young or a weak old elephant, success is still highly unlikely. That's when the protective circle formed by the adult elephants becomes an impenetrable barrier. At the slightest sign of a threat, they stomp their giant feet, swing their trunks like formidable weapons, and emit thunderous calls. Thanks to the tight organization of the herd and a powerful protective instinct, the success rate of crocodile attacks on elephant calves in the Mara River is less than 10%. The powerful footsteps of the African bush elephant do more than just stir the ground around the Mara River. They reshape the landscape itself. As these massive creatures tear through vegetation and dig deep into the earth in search of hidden water sources, they inadvertently create small ponds and channels. According to a 2024 study by the African Ecological Research Center, the water bodies created by elephants are ideal breeding grounds for Nile crocodiles. Unlike the unpredictable prey, the Nile crocodile eagerly awaits the grand feast that takes place annually from July to October. During this period, the Mara River transforms into a bustling corridor for the Great Migration. Over 1.5 million wildebeest, along with 300,000 zebras and hundreds of thousands of gazelles, leave Tanzania's Serengeti. As seasoned predators, the Nile crocodiles lie in wait, hidden beneath the water's surface as the great herds gather anxiously along the riverbanks. The mortality rate in the migrating herds can be as high as 10 to 15%, with many falling victim to the sudden, brutal ambushes of these ancient reptiles. A crocodile's hunting strategy is simple but brutally effective. Target the weakest prey amidst the chaos and dispatch it with precision. Once caught, the victim suffers the legendary death roll, a violent maneuver where the crocodile spins its entire body in the water like a powerful vortex. This force is enough to break bones and tear flesh, ripping even the largest prey into small, manageable pieces. Although they are solitary hunters, the Nile crocodiles of the Masai Mara display remarkable cooperation when the situation demands it. When one initiates an attack, others quickly join in, clamping their powerful jaws onto a struggling prey. With each meal, a crocodile can consume up to 48 pounds of meat, storing enough energy to endure the lean months ahead. As the Mara River's current swells, the wildebeest plunge in with collective force and unshakable determination. Once a crossing point is identified, the entire herd surges forward like a relentless wave. Often interspersed with the black and white striped zebras, the chaos makes it difficult for crocodiles to single out a target. Wildebeest also communicate through warning calls, alerting the entire herd to impending danger and enhancing their collective survival. The zebras, though fewer in number, act as the pioneers of the migration. They understand that the Mara River is a deadly arena dominated by lurking crocodiles. Instead, they rely on solidarity, waiting until their numbers have swelled before making the perilous journey together. This collective approach forms a moving wall of bodies, reducing the chance of any single zebra being targeted. The zebras further enhance their chances of survival by mingling with the enormous herds of wildebeest. When both species plunge into the river together, they create a massive, surging force. This relentless battle for survival is driven not just by instinct, but by solidarity. When faced with danger, the zebras become the warriors of the migration, pushing forward through the perilous waters of the Mara. Surviving the treacherous Mara River is just the beginning. In the harsh and unforgiving ecosystem of the Mara, other giants are lurking, ready to strike any unsuspecting prey. The relationship between the Nile crocodile and big cats, like the lion and the leopard, is one of cautious confrontation. When food is scarce, both are willing to steal from each other. These encounters are often a battle of intimidation, bared fangs, growls, and calculated movements. The lion, the king of the savannah, reigns as the apex predator on land. Weighing up to 550 pounds, its most prominent feature, the thick, dark mane, is not just a shield against the bites of rivals. A lion pride is not just a group of animals. It is a highly structured society, typically comprising 10 to 15 members. The lionesses, slender yet powerful, are the primary hunters, working together with remarkable precision to bring down prey. For the lion, every confrontation is not just a test of strength. It is a display of pride, resilience, and the will to survive. Besides the ungulates, Nile crocodiles also prey on primates like the olive baboon, also known as the Anubis baboon. These baboons live in complex groups called harems, which can number over 150 individuals, functioning as small societies with tight-knit structures. The Mara River is both a vital source of life and a dangerous battlefield for these primates. When the baboon troop approaches the water's edge, they remain highly vigilant. Sharp eyes scan every ripple, and ears are tuned to any unusual sound. When threatened, the olive baboon emits a loud bark that echoes along the riverbanks. The dominant males react immediately, creating even louder noises. Dawn on the African savannah is a spectacular sight, awakening the landscape in a symphony of colors and sounds. As the first rays of dawn break over the horizon, the sky transforms into a stunning palette of orange, pink, and purple, casting a warm glow over the vast grasslands. As the sun climbs higher, its golden rays illuminate the dew-drenched grass, glittering like diamonds in the morning light. The shadows of the acacia trees stand tall on the horizon, their iconic shapes creating a striking contrast against the vibrant sky. For many, dawn on the African savannah is not just a visual feast, but a reminder of the interconnectedness of life, the beauty of nature. This moment of peace and awakening is fleeting, but it sets the stage for the vibrant, sometimes harsh realities of life on the savannah. The lion, often called the king of the savannah, strength, majesty, and a complex social structure define its journey to dominance. The lion's journey begins at birth, where the cubs enter a world that is both nurturing and dangerous. Usually born in litters of 2 to 4, these vulnerable creatures are completely dependent on their mother for nourishment and protection. The lioness, as the primary caregiver, imparts essential survival skills to her young. Lions tend to stay in their birth pride, while young males face a critical juncture. Typically, at the age of 2 to 3, the males are driven out by the dominant males, prompting a quest for independence. The transition from dependence to independence is fraught with challenges. After leaving the pride, the young males begin a nomadic journey that can last several years. This phase of their life is marked by uncertainty as they must navigate the dangers of the savannah. The pinnacle of a male lion's journey often occurs when he successfully defeats the resident males of a pride, allowing him to claim it as his own. Upon assuming leadership, the male steps into a new role: protector, provider, and mate. He must defend the pride against challengers and establish dominance over his territory. The lion's journey to becoming the king of the savannah is a profound tale of resilience, competition, and the complex dynamics of pride life. As apex predators, lions not only symbolize power and majesty, but also embody the intricacies of social structures in the animal kingdom. Known for their adaptability and solitary nature, leopards are one of the most versatile big cats, capable of thriving in diverse environments. During the dry season in the Kalahari, these majestic cats face unique challenges. And exhibit remarkable behaviors that highlight their resilience and adaptability. Hunting is a crucial aspect of a leopard's life, and during the dry season, the availability and behavior of prey species dictate their hunting strategies. In the Kalahari, common prey includes springbok, impala, and duiker, all of which can become more difficult to hunt as the dry season progresses. As water sources become scarce, herbivores tend to congregate around the few remaining water holes, making them more accessible to leopards. Leopards employ stealth and patience when stalking their prey, using their spotted coats to blend in with their surroundings. Their exceptional climbing abilities also allow them to ambush prey from trees, a strategy that can be particularly effective during the dry season. During the dry season, hunting becomes crucial for survival. Leopards tend to hunt more frequently during the cooler parts of the day or at night. Leopards are solitary animals, with both males and females maintaining large territories that they patrol and defend from intruders. During the dry season, territorial marking becomes increasingly important as competition for resources intensifies. Surviving the Kalahari's dry season requires significant adaptation from the leopard. Their physiology is well suited for a life of stealth and ambush. However, to thrive in this arid environment, leopards have also developed behaviors and physiological traits that allow them to cope with extreme temperatures. Leopards possess excellent climbing abilities, often retreating to trees, where they can escape danger and store their kills from other predators. Although they primarily hunt ungulates, they can switch to preying on smaller mammals or birds when large prey is scarce. Leopards play a crucial role in the Kalahari ecosystem as apex predators. By controlling herbivore populations, leopards ensure that the vegetation remains healthy and resilient. The Kalahari Desert, often characterized by its vast arid landscapes and seasonal changes, is a unique habitat for a variety of wildlife, including the fastest land animal on Earth, the cheetah. Hunting is a critical aspect of a cheetah's life, and during the dry season, the availability and behavior of prey become especially important. Common cheetah prey in the Kalahari includes small to medium-sized ungulates like springbok, impala, and gazelles. Cheetahs are renowned for their incredible speed, capable of reaching up to 60 miles per hour in short bursts. This speed is a crucial asset during hunts. During the dry season, cheetahs often rely on their keen eyesight to spot potential prey from a distance. The dry season presents both opportunities and challenges for hunting. With sparse vegetation, herbivores are more visible. However, as water sources dwindle, prey can become more vigilant, increasing the difficulty of successful hunts. The cheetah's unique hunting style, which involves a combination of sprinting and sharp turns, allows it to outmaneuver prey that relies on endurance rather than speed. While cheetahs are often solitary animals, their social structures are more flexible than those of lions. Female cheetahs typically raise their cubs alone, teaching them essential hunting skills and survival techniques. During the dry season, the mother's role becomes crucial as resources become scarce. On the other hand, male cheetahs may form small groups called coalitions, often consisting of brothers. These coalitions can enhance hunting success and provide protection. Surviving the Kalahari's dry season requires cheetahs to exhibit remarkable adaptations to cope with extreme temperatures and limited water. Their light-colored coats provide camouflage in the sandy environment, aiding in stalking prey. Furthermore, cheetahs have large nasal passages and lungs that allow for efficient oxygen intake. During the dry season, water becomes a primary concern for all desert-dwelling animals, including the cheetah. Cheetahs are highly adaptable and can survive for long periods without drinking water directly, obtaining the necessary moisture from their prey. Cheetahs play a vital role in the Kalahari ecosystem as apex predators. Their hunting activities help regulate prey populations, preventing overgrazing and promoting biodiversity. The majestic Oryx, a symbol of resilience in the desert. In the arid lands of Namibia, where the sun beats down relentlessly and the earth is painted in hues of ochre and gold, the Oryx stands as a testament to nature's resilience and beauty. The Oryx, particularly the desert oryx, is a majestic creature characterized by its long, straight horns that can reach lengths of up to 35 inches. The oryx's coat is a beautiful blend of sandy beige and white, providing perfect camouflage against the desert sands. Standing about 4 feet tall at the shoulder, the oryx's muscular build is designed for endurance. Its long legs allow for swift movement across the vast desert expanses. The oryx primarily inhabits the Namib Desert, along with semi-arid regions and sparse grasslands. The oryx is renowned for its extraordinary ability to go for long periods without drinking water. They derive moisture from the vegetation they consume, such as grasses, leaves, and succulents. Socially, the oryx is often found in small herds, typically consisting of females and their young, led by a dominant male. The oryx stands as a majestic symbol of resilience, embodying the harsh beauty of the Namib Desert. In a world where survival often depends on the smallest of adaptations, the Oryx teaches us about the incredible capacity of life to endure, thrive, and inspire in the face of adversity. Amidst the wetlands, a white silhouette quietly emerges. It is the African spoonbill. It usually stands in water 4 to 16 inches deep, slowly advancing while moving its open beak back and forth underwater. When it senses any movement, its beak snaps shut instantly, clamping down on the prey. This unique, spoon-shaped weapon is a perfect tactile sensor. It does not need to see its prey in the murky water. It feels them. With just a light touch from a small fish or a larva, the beak trap springs shut at an inescapable speed. Beneath its captivating beauty, the Masai Mara is facing deep fractures in its ecosystem. The flow of water into the Mara River is no longer as regular as it once was. The climate is becoming increasingly unpredictable. Prolonged droughts, once considered rare events, have now become the new norm. The grasslands are no longer green enough to sustain hundreds of thousands of animals. When prey is scarce, predators become bolder. Conflicts between humans and wildlife are on the rise. Alarmingly, long-term studies have shown a serious decline in some iconic populations. Species such as giraffes and warthogs have seen their numbers plummet in recent decades, a warning sign for the health of the entire ecosystem. Elephants are also threatened by poaching. Currently, fewer than 35 black rhinos are recorded in the Masai Mara. Meanwhile, the pressure from tourism is constantly increasing. The noise from engines and crowds disrupts the fragile rhythm of the animals' lives. Amidst these silent challenges, new seeds of life continue to be nurtured, discreetly but persistently. On the lands of the Masai Mara, conservancies managed by local communities have become safe havens for over 80% of the region's large animals. GPS collars on elephants and lions record every movement, helping organizations like the Mara Elephant Project better understand the threats they face. The Maasai community is no longer on the sidelines. Land lease agreements with the conservancies generate sustainable income. Ecotourism is strictly controlled, ensuring that wildlife is observed without being disturbed. Every step we leave on this planet creates an imprint, positive or negative. The choice is ours. Protecting the Masai Mara is protecting our own future. Wherever we are, every small action can make a difference. Nature needs our voice now, before it is too late. This current of life flows towards Andutu, a place known as the cradle of life. Here, the wildebeest must fulfill a sacred pact of their kind. They wager their lives for a chance at survival before embarking on the arduous journey back north. In this sea of life, each individual is but a small part of a great organism, operating on herd instinct. Then, the rainy season arrives. It is a grace bestowed by creation upon the patient. But with it comes an even greater challenge. This is the time of the largest synchronized birthing on the Savannah. An extraordinary survival strategy, using numbers to overwhelm the predators. In just 1 hour, hundreds, sometimes thousands of tiny lives are born. Over 500,000 calves are born in just 2 to 3 weeks. The sheer volume of young prey born all at once is more than the predators can possibly consume. For the young, time is the enemy. Their first steps are clumsy, yet they are the very miracle that strengthens them. Because if they fail, their first day could also be their last. The scent of new life drifts across the savannah, an irresistible invitation to the hunters. Life's first challenge is the spotted hyena. They are the tireless scavengers of the Serengeti, the embodiment of nature's cruel law. No weakness is permitted. With a bite force strong enough to crush bone, a fragile life can be extinguished in an instant. But standing between the hunter and the vulnerable calf is a wall of steel forged from instinct, motherhood. When the green plains begin to fade, it signals a new departure. Now, the zebras appear, like the living compasses of the Great Migration. But wherever life sprouts, death is always lurking nearby. The cheetah does not hunt in a pack. It is a solitary assassin, trusting only in its speed. Accelerating from 0 to 70 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. The chase typically lasts no more than 30 seconds, and this time, it is a resounding success. But nothing is ever certain. A powerful kick from a zebra can deliver enough force to break a predator's jaw. A single misstep, and the cheetah's hunt could end in tragedy. The migration reaches the edge of the grumeti woodlands. This is the domain of the leopard. It is a master of patience, capable of waiting for hours, even days. When a lone figure passes, it knows the moment has come. A swift and precise pounce. The feast begins. The migration has endured its first births and its first deaths. Ahead, the true boundary between life and death awaits. After the breeding season, the herds continue their journey. They must cross a parched, cracked land. The ground is now a dusty yellow. The temperature soars. Exhaustion begins to show. The calves that survived the ambushes now face an even more relentless foe, thirst and the lions. Under the searing sun, a pride of lions lies motionless atop a kopje. They wait patiently, knowing the migration will eventually pass. The weak, those who fall behind, will be the targets. A tense chase ensues. The pride drives its prey towards the riverbank. This time, the wildebeest could not escape its fate. Its journey ends here. Loss is inevitable, but the herd does not stop. The survivors must overcome their fear and press on. Before them lies the treacherous Mara River, the final destination of a wearying trek. But ironically, the very place that offers life can also become a deadly trap. Defying a primal fear, the herd plunges into the river. Majesty gives way to chaos. With a bite force of over 3,700 pounds per square inch, the crocodile seizes the unfortunate creature. And with its death roll, it finishes its prey. Not far away, another wildebeest is dragged to the riverbed, one more life left behind in this place. The riverbank becomes a biological grinding machine. Some are trampled, others drowned, pressed forward by the relentless herd behind them. The strong swim with iron resolve, navigating past the floating carcasses. This brutality, strangely, is the very essence of survival. When one is taken, the others seize the opportunity to move forward. Even those fortunate enough to escape the current are often badly injured. Whether they survive on the other side is left entirely to fate. They pay with blood and life, but in the order of nature, the survival of the herd is always more important than the fate of an individual. The survivors of the Mara crossing continue their journey north. But in contrast to that panic, another migration unfolds, silent, organized, and far more perilous. The migration of the African buffalo. As they move, the herd forms a solid black mass, a formidable display of unity. They advance in a tight formation, almost like an army. The young and the weak are sheltered in the center, surrounded by strong adult females. And leading the charge, like generals on the front line, are the largest males, known as living fortresses. A fully grown bull can weigh up to 2,000 pounds, the equivalent of a small car, and carries a pair of horns fused into a helmet of bone. When the buffalo advance, predators know the rules. This is no easy meal. This is a battle. When the herd reaches a new water source, the scene is entirely different from the arrival of the wildebeest. The Nile crocodile, typically one of the most audacious predators, becomes exceedingly cautious. All it can do is watch in silence. The difference lies in the capacity to retaliate. A misplaced snap will not yield a reward, but a fight to the death. But this quiet is never the true nature of the wild. The crocodile may choose to retreat, but the lion will not. Courage and pride compel it to conquer at all costs. The African buffalo is the ultimate prize. A single adult can provide enough meat to sustain an entire pride for days. But to claim this feast, They must pay in blood. Amidst the vegetation, not 3 or 5, but a large pride of nearly 20 lions lies in ambush. These are lions that specialize in hunting buffalo. The battle begins. A lone buffalo can be victorious, but not today, for the few can rarely stand against the many. This is the promised land that millions of creatures have yearned for throughout a journey of hundreds of miles. The plains of the Masai Mara in Kenya offer a spectacular contrast to the arid grasslands of the Serengeti. This is a wondrous moment of grace. After passing through the grim filter of life and death, the survivors are rewarded by nature with a banquet. This abundance is more than just food. It is rebirth, the promise of the continuation of their kind. But this is a paradise for prey and a hell for the vulnerable. This land attracts and sustains an astonishingly dense population of predators. It is the cruel paradox of the promised land. Where life is most abundant, danger is also at its peak. The Greater Mara ecosystem unfolds like a living map. The Masai Mara is home to over 95 species of mammals and more than 570 species of birds. But the Masai Mara is more than just scenic beauty. This is where the Big Five, the lion, African elephant, black rhinoceros, leopard, and African buffalo, reign and demonstrate their power. These giants, once the trophies of hunters, now draw millions of admiring gazes from tourists around the world. But the stage of survival in the Mara does not belong only to the dominant. For many other creatures, danger lurks in the most unexpected places, turning a tranquil riverbank into a deadly arena. The common warthog roams the plains. As they approach the Mara River to drink, they must lower their heads but never take their eyes off the water. That moment is one of extreme vulnerability. A sign of opportunity for the Nile crocodile. Warthogs, lowering their guard to drink, often become the primary targets of their successful ambushes. The sharp teeth do not tear flesh but sink in deep, clamping down like iron pliers. Once caught, there is no escape. To minimize risk, warthogs are always cautious when approaching the banks of the Mara. Upon detecting danger, a warthog can bolt at an incredible speed, reaching up to 30 miles per hour. They not only run fast, but also change direction abruptly, evading lethal strikes. Another challenging target is the giraffe. In the Masai Mara, the Masai giraffe is the tallest animal in the world, with an average height of 18 to 20 feet. To drink, a giraffe must spread its front legs wide, a posture that makes it highly vulnerable to attack. Therefore, it remains on high alert, bending down only for brief intervals of 15 to 30 seconds. A member of the Big Five, the African bush elephant, is the true giant of the Masai Mara. This elephant species can stand up to 13 feet tall and weigh as much as 15,000 pounds. Elephants are known for their intelligence, long memory, and complex social behaviors. They show joy at the birth of a new calf, and grief at the loss of a herd member. When a herd approaches the Mara River, their immense size and power make even the hungriest crocodiles wary. Adult elephants are rarely targeted. Occasionally, hunger drives a crocodile to risk an attack, usually aiming for the trunk or tail. But that only turns the hunt into a wrestling match with a giant. And victory almost always belongs to the adult elephant. When a crocodile does decide to ambush a calf, its chances of success remain very low. The protective circle of adult elephants forms an impenetrable fortress, keeping the young ones safe. Thanks to the herd's tight organization and protective instincts, crocodile attacks on elephant calves in the Mara River are rarely successful. Although an apex predator, the Nile crocodile is not the sole ruler of the Mara River. It shares its habitat with the hippopotamus, the third largest land animal, with enormous canine teeth that can grow up to 20 inches long and a mouth that can open to 150 degrees, the hippo sends a clear message to predators: keep your distance. Hippopotamus calves, however, are vulnerable when they stray from the protection of the pod. But when a mother hippo senses danger, her protective instincts are instantly triggered. In the presence of hippos, crocodiles usually maintain a safe distance, well aware of the risk of injury, or even death. Though they are competitors, these two species share a silent alliance, crucial to the ecosystem. Hippos spend most of their day submerged in water. As they move, they stir up mud and nutrients from the riverbed. This disturbance creates a rich environment where fish, the crocodile's prey, can thrive. This is not a relationship of friendship, but one of pragmatic cooperation. Besides ungulates, crocodiles also prey on primates, such as the olive baboon. These primates live in complex troops of up to 150 individuals, functioning as a small society. When approaching the water's edge, baboons are always on high alert. If cornered, a baboon will not back down. They can leap onto low-hanging branches to escape a predator's reach, or even throw stones from above to drive it away. Compared to scattered prey, the Nile crocodile prefers the grand feast that occurs annually, from July to October. During this period, the Mara River becomes a treacherous passage in the Great Migration. Over 1.5 million wildebeest, along with hundreds of thousands of zebra and gazelles. They leave the Serengeti in Tanzania, heading for the Masai Mara in search of green pastures and fresh water. The Nile crocodiles, seasoned hunters, lie in wait. As the panicked herds gather to cross the churning waters, the crocodile's moment arrives. The mortality rate during the crossing can be as high as 10 to 15%, largely due to crocodile ambushes and drownings. Large prey are subdued with the legendary death roll technique. After seizing its victim, the crocodile spins its entire body violently in the water, generating enough force to break bones and tear flesh. When one begins the hunt, others quickly join in, holding the prey fast, taking turns to roll and rip it into shareable pieces. This is when the river transforms into a blood-soaked banquet. The water turns red, a brutal reminder that only the strongest and the luckiest will make it across. When one wildebeest is caught, those around it immediately accelerate, putting distance between themselves and the predator. The zebra, though not the majority, play a pioneering role in the migration. Facing the perilous waters, they are not alone. Zebra herds employ a strategy of unity, waiting until their numbers are sufficient before crossing together. Their sheer numbers create a living wall, reducing the chance of a crocodile singling out any one individual. The sight resembles a constantly shifting mosaic. Beyond the dominant giants, the Masai Mara is also home to smaller, yet cunning and resourceful predators. The African wild dog is a master of cooperative hunting. However, their numbers in the Masai Mara are limited due to competitive pressure from lions and hyenas. African wild dogs have an even more organized social structure than hyenas, with groups known as packs. Similar to the organization of wolves, the pack is led by a dominant alpha pair. In this system, discipline and solidarity are the cornerstones of success. While animals fight for survival, humanity is doing the opposite. Human intervention has exposed this land to the fury of climate change. Shifting temperatures, altered rainfall, and shrinking habitats. All of these disrupt the ecological rhythm that has existed for millennia. The natural balance seems to be faltering. To answer this cry for help, conservation efforts are spreading across the Masai Mara. One key strategy is the establishment of larger wildlife corridors, which increase the area available for predators to roam freely. According to recent reports from the Worldwide Fund for Nature, these new corridors have significantly expanded the living space for many species. Sustainable ecotourism is also becoming a mainstream trend. Instead of simply profiting from nature, these programs aim to harmonize economic development with environmental conservation. On that conservation journey, the Mara Predator Conservation Program has become a powerful source of inspiration. Before conservation programs like the Mara Predator Conservation Program were established, the lion population in the Masai Mara had significantly declined due to human conflict and habitat loss. Thanks to advanced tracking technologies and community dialogue efforts, the program has contributed to a marked reduction in these conflicts. The lion population is now showing impressive signs of recovery, offering great hope for the future of this iconic predator. The recovery of lions in the Masai Mara is about more than just protecting one predator. It is a testament to humanity's power to change the future of an ecosystem. This program has ignited hope that through sustainable and cooperative efforts, we can reverse nature's decline. The Masai Mara needs everyone's contribution. Act today to protect the future of the Masai Mara, helping to preserve this ecosystem for generations to come. Although they do not migrate on a grand scale, Kruger's southern giraffes quietly alter their behavior. As the short grasses wither, they move towards woodlands and riverbanks, where trees still hold green leaves. With a neck over 6.5 feet long and a total height of over 18 feet, they can easily reach the high canopy. This ability to stand and browse is their signature nutritional strategy. They can go for days without drinking, thanks to the moisture they get from leaves. However, their very height becomes a vulnerability when they drink. To lower their heads, they must splay their forelegs wide or kneel, an unstable posture that narrows their field of view. This position makes them susceptible to ambush by predators near the water's edge. Their immense vigilance compensates for this awkwardness. They often pause and scan the landscape before committing to move. In the dry season ecosystem, they are not hunters, but they serve as sentinels, acting as radar towers across the savannah. But vigilance from above cannot compare to the absolute power sweeping across the ground. Meanwhile, the great tanks of the savannah move in parallel with the migrating herds. The African elephant in Kruger National Park is a symbol of wild power, with a mature bull weighing up to about 16,500 pounds. Each day, an elephant consumes up to 300 pounds of roots, grasses, fruit, and bark during the dry season. They do not follow fixed paths, but elephants always know where to find water, guided by memory and the leadership of experienced matriarchs. When ponds turn to dust, elephants use their tusks to dig for underground water sources. This not only sustains them, but also offers hope to other species that share the resource. In the dry season, elephants expand their home ranges to access scarce resources. They flexibly alter their diet, shifting from grass in the wet season to a preference for browsing on woody plants during the dry months. Elephants protect their young with formidable social structures. The females will often form a defensive circle around a calf when a threat appears. Encircled by sharp teeth, the mother has nowhere to run. She knows she cannot fight the pack alone. But as she looks into the innocent eyes of the calf trembling behind her, a primal strength awakens. It is not the strength of muscle, but the silent vow of motherhood. She will not flee. She will become the final shield, a living fortress to protect the life she brought into this world. In this moment, she is not prey. She is a warrior, fighting not for her own life, but for the future of her lineage. The ecological impact of elephants in the dry season is profound. They are ecosystem engineers. By felling trees and stripping bark, elephants open up the woodland canopy, allowing sunlight to reach the ground and promoting the regrowth of saplings when the rains return. And in the shadow of these giants, smaller lives find their own ways to survive, quietly and with great cunning. In contrast to the immense frame of the elephant, the steenbok and the common duiker are small and easily concealed. The steenbok stands only about 18 to 21 inches tall and weighs between 20 and 29 pounds. Its reddish-brown coat, white underbelly, and large ears help it detect the faintest sounds. The common duiker is slightly larger, with a stocky build and powerful hind legs for explosive leaps. During the dry season, both species move nimbly through the remaining patches of short grass and low shrubs. They often forage at dawn or dusk, when the shadows are long and the temperature is cooler. The steenbok shows a remarkable ability to survive without regular drinking, relying on moisture-rich plants. The duiker, meanwhile, relies more on concealment and speed when approached. Beyond their own survival, these two species help regulate the growth of shrubs. They are also favored prey for leopards, hyenas, and martial eagles, connecting multiple tiers of predators in the dry season food web. But danger does not only come from the ground, for from the sky above, a deadly shadow looms over all. Like another solitary and versatile hunter, the leopard waits in silence, concealed in a tree. The leopard is Kruger's master of stealth and solitude. During the dry season, it uses the shade of riverine forests and thickets near dry riverbeds to stage its ambushes. After a hunt, the kill is hauled into the branches of a tree to keep it safe from thieves. A leopard is capable of dragging a carcass twice its own body weight up into a tree. High on a branch, the ruler of the shadows waits in silence. The leopard needs neither the speed of a cheetah nor the collective strength of a lion pride. Its weapons are silence, patience, and a form that merges with the night. Below, its prey is unaware that death hangs just above. This is a battle without roars, without a chase. It is a contest of wits, a tense game between predator and prey, where every rustle of leaves, every whisper of wind could be the signal of death. And in this suffocating silence, who will make the first mistake? At dawn or dusk, when small animals leave their shelters to find water, the leopard is most active. When it is close enough, it launches itself a sudden pounce like an arrow, striking with claw and jaw. Spotted hyenas often arrive after a leopard has made a kill, attempting to claim the carcass. The leopard's behavior is heavily influenced by the environment and human presence during the dry season. On bright, moonlit nights, leopards hunt less as prey is more alert. They prefer darker nights for greater success. But not all predators rely on darkness. There is one who turns the daylight into a stage for its terrifying speed. Another large cat also hunts alone, also with a spotted pattern like the leopard. But this time the warrior's name is Cheetah. The cheetah's anatomy is the essence of speed. A lightweight frame, long legs, and a flexible spine. Famed for achieving explosive speeds of 68 to 75 miles per hour, the cheetah pays a high price for such velocity. Its claws are semi-retractable, unlike the fully retractable claws of other cats. They are harder, always slightly exposed like cleats, maximizing grip with every stride. Its long tail acts as a living rudder, stabilizing sharp turns at high speed. They stalk their prey at dawn or dusk, using low grass and scattered bushes for cover. Its top speed lasts only a few seconds, rarely for more than 400 to 500 yards, as exhaustion and a rising body temperature force it to stop. After the hunt, they must eat quickly, as their kills are highly susceptible to theft. The savannah holds its breath. All life seems to stop. For the cheetah, this is not a chase. It is a life or death gamble played out in a few short seconds. It has poured millions of years of evolution into this single burst, an explosion of muscle, a flash of lightning tearing through space. But speed is also its curse. Every stride burns precious energy. Every passing second pushes its body to the brink of collapse. Failure is not just a missed meal. Failure means exhaustion, vulnerability, and the death that may come from opportunists lurking somewhere in the shadows. And now, on that fragile edge, the fate of both hunter and hunted will be decided. The cheetah also carries the legacy of two severe genetic bottlenecks. One occurred around 100,000 years ago, and another about 12,000 years ago at the end of the last ice age. These population collapses wiped out genetic diversity. Modern cheetahs carry extremely low genetic variation, making them prone to stress, susceptible to disease, and highly sensitive to environmental changes. The smaller predators of the savannah have their own strategies and domains. And just beneath the arid ground, a sudden death can be delivered with a single strike, silent but deadly. The puff adder is responsible for more snake bites in Africa than any other species. superbly camouflaged, it often lies motionless on footpaths or in the dry grass of Kruger. When accidentally stepped on, the puff adder responds with a hiss, coiling into an S shape as a warning before it strikes. Its venom is primarily cytotoxic, causing severe swelling and tissue damage if left untreated. Puff adders are most active in the early morning and the cooler hours of the late afternoon. They hunt by ambush, waiting for small mammals, birds, or lizards to pass by before striking with incredible speed. But venom is not the only weapon of the reptile. In the murky water, a prehistoric predator waits with jaws more fearsome than any poison. Kruger National Park is renowned as a kingdom of reptiles, so the Nile crocodile cannot be overlooked. As the Letaba or Sabi rivers shrink, the crocodiles lie in wait in the mud, waiting for prey to come for a drink. The bite force of a large crocodile has been measured at over 5,000 pounds per square inch. As river levels drop, crocodiles become almost motionless during the day to conserve energy. They ambush in the early morning or late afternoon when animals come to drink or cross at the water's edge. Although their primary diet is fish, when the water recedes and mammals draw closer to drink, crocodiles seize the opportunity. Unlike the predators above, the king of the savannah is a social hunter. That unity gives them the courage to challenge even other predators like the Nile crocodile. Yet, even the ruler of the waters must be wary of the power of the pride of the true kings of this land. As the sun sets on the savannah, the lion pride begins to sense a change in the air. Their sharp eyes search not only for prey, but also listen to the signals from the grasslands. Possessing a muscular body, the male is distinguished by a magnificent golden mane. They move with regal grace, each step heavy yet light, as if knowing that every footfall carries the potential for death. Movement in the water captures their attention. A lion slowly approaches the swamp, where the dark water begins to ripple. A half-submerged figure is slowly drifting closer. Only its head and red eyes are visible. The crocodile's every move seems to blend into its surroundings, perfectly still and waiting. Suddenly, as if by silent agreement, they both declare war. Neither side gives way. The two rulers unleash lethal attacks. But when the battle ends, there is no victor. They retreat, their eyes filled with regret at not being able to finish the fight. Both understand that victory in this world is not always clear-cut. Life goes on, bringing new opportunities, new challenges for both. In the wild, no one can rest forever because the struggle for survival never ends. The lion is the largest cat in Africa. A male can weigh nearly 500 pounds. With a muscular build and powerful forelimbs, they can bring down prey more than twice their size. The thick mane around a male's neck is not just for show, it serves as protection. During battles for territory, or to defend the pride, the mane shields the neck and shoulders. Lions are the only cats that live in social groups. A pride typically consists of 2 to more than 10 members. Males defend the territory and protect the cubs, while the lionesses are the primary hunters. Lionesses hunt in groups, coordinating to encircle and bring down large prey. Each pride roams a vast area, but they guard water sources during the dry season as if they were their lifeblood. Lions are most active at dusk and throughout the night. A lion's roar can be heard up to 5 miles away. The dry season in Kruger National Park becomes a stage for intense hunts. As the savanna cracks and dries, water becomes an unavoidable concentration point for migrating herds. Lions take advantage of this, ambushing at dwindling waterholes or along the Sabi and Letaba rivers. Hunts often take place at dawn or under the light of the moon. The pride spreads out in the darkness, surrounding their prey. If successful, the males often eat first, followed by the lionesses and finally the cubs. But if they fail, the entire pride may go hungry for days. In Kruger's ecosystem, lions play a crucial role in regulating herbivore populations. By targeting the weak, old, or young individuals in migrating herds, they help maintain the genetic health of the prey populations. However, lions in Kruger are facing increasing pressure. A 2023 report from Africa Geographic noted that in the northern part of the park, only about 122 lions remain. Surveys suggest the population may have declined by as much as 63% in the last 18 years due to human-wildlife conflict and prey loss. And as the king's throne wavers, a savage laughter begins to echo across the savannah, heralding the rise of a rival power. High above, the martial eagle spreads its wings, surveying the land below. As Africa's largest eagle, the martial eagle soars silently over Kruger's arid skies. With eyesight 3 to 4 times sharper than a human's, it can spot small prey from a distance of several hundred yards. The dry season is a time when smaller animals emerge more frequently to find water, creating ideal hunting opportunities for the eagle. A camera trap study at Nests from 2018 to 2022 recorded 44 different prey species. Monitor lizards and helmeted guinea fowl made up the bulk of the diet. As temperatures rose, martial eagles showed a preference for reptiles over birds when feeding their young. Protecting a kill from other predators is always part of the challenge. The martial eagle must act quickly before hyenas or lions arrive. However, the population of martial eagles in Kruger is in decline. Research by the African Bird Club reports a decline of around 56% compared to earlier records. When the sky is no longer safe, the ground is no more peaceful. For in the darkness, a master predator becomes one with the night. The spotted hyena is one of the primary challengers in the lion's predatory arena. More than just scavengers, spotted hyenas have their own hunting strategies. They organize nocturnal hunts, running their prey to exhaustion before tearing it apart with their powerful jaws. Especially in the absence of lions, hyenas emerge as the rulers of the world of carrion. They live in a matriarchal system where females lead the clans and have priority access to food. On major hunts, hyenas coordinate in smaller groups to take down agile prey. When confronting lions, hyenas will retreat if outnumbered. But when their numbers are greater, they will boldly return to reclaim a kill. But not every hunt ends in brute force. Some turn the chase into a deadly marathon where endurance is the ultimate weapon. Like lions and hyenas, pack unity is the key to the African wild dog's survival. They do not ambush, but chase to the end. This species is believed to have the highest hunting success rate in Kruger, around 70 to 90%. Their society is matriarchal, with a female holding the leadership role. The wild dog's body is built for speed and stamina, with long legs, low shoulders, and a light frame. Large rounded ears help dissipate heat, while a white-tipped tail acts as a visual signal for pack members. They are most active in the early morning and late afternoon to avoid the intense heat of the dry season. Their hunting style is based purely on endurance. Despite being one of the most effective hunters, the African wild dog remains rare in Kruger. They require vast territories, which often leads to conflict with humans on the park's edges. Infectious diseases, particularly canine distemper and rabies, have further weakened their populations. And after every bloody battle, when silence returns, the sky reveals the cleaners, the final witnesses to every life's end. After the dramatic hunts comes the patient wait of the white-backed vulture. Soaring high above with sharp vision, this species is often the first to spot a carcass. Descending quickly, they tear open the abdomen of the carcass, creating an entry point for other scavengers. Though they do not hunt, they play a critical role in cleaning the savannah, preventing the spread of disease. During the dry season, white-backed vultures intensify their search for large carcasses like wildebeest or buffalo. They ride thermal currents to soar high with minimal energy expenditure, surveying a vast territory below. At fresh carcasses, they tear at the soft tissues to access the internal organs first, after which other vultures, hyenas, and jackals will arrive. In May 2025, a poisoned elephant carcass in Kruger caused the deaths of 123 vultures. Research warns that if just one poisoned elephant carcass goes untreated every 2 years, the white-backed vulture in Kruger could disappear within 50 to 60 years. But at the feast of the dead, there is always one who arrives last but holds the power to decide, a giant strong enough to drive away the weaker ones. The lappet-faced vulture also never misses Kruger's final feasts. Larger and more aggressive, this bare-faced vulture has an incredibly strong beak, capable of tearing through the thick hide of a dead buffalo or elephant. It often arrives after the first vultures, but it dictates who gets access to the tougher remains. The lappet-faced vulture is a highly competitive scavenger, capable of chasing off hawks or even smaller hyenas. Under the searing sunset, ripples on the water offer a deceptively peaceful invitation. Beneath the calm breathes one of the most volatile creatures in all of Africa. With only eyes and nostrils visible, the hippo appears lazy, yet he is an impregnable mobile fortress. Do not let his sluggish appearance deceive you. Weighing 3,300 pounds, his jaws can gape 150 degrees, delivering a devastating bite. He does not hunt, but he will kill to defend his sacred territory. Any intruder, be it a proud lion or a predatory Nile crocodile, should they cross the line, they will face a fury that knows no mercy. The hippo's ferocity peaks when protecting the next generation. A pod is organized like an army under the command of a dominant bull. When a calf is threatened, the mother transforms into a formidable warrior. She will abandon the water to charge a lion pride in a frenzied counterattack. Even the crocodile, a master hunter, is often crushed or driven off in terror. Despite their aquatic life, hippos do not swim like fish. They walk along the riverbed, holding their breath for 5 minutes in the silent depths. It is a peculiar adaptation, making them masters of the silent depths and the explosive land. As daylight peaks on the flaming horizon, the savannah swelters in the midday sun. This is no time for rest. It is the golden hour of the rulers. Keen eyes monitor the landscape from the shadows of the scrub. A slender, elegant form leaves the shade, advancing toward the antelope. A lioness, the silent warrior and primary architect of the hunt. Her strength lies not in solitude, but in the pride. Coordination is the key to their dominion over the savannah. They deploy tactical formations, surrounding and isolating prey under 1,000 watchful eyes. With a bite force of 650 pounds per square inch, they can pierce a buffalo's hide. In a decisive burst of 50 miles per hour, they turn a quiet noon into a breathless pursuit. But power here comes from more than just the hunt. The male, his mane glowing in the sun, is the absolute icon of ownership. When kings collide, the earth trembles with roars that echo across the plains. This uncompromising duel decides leadership and the future of the bloodline. Beneath the stifling heat, an exhausted herd of wildebeest reaches the riverbank. They hesitate, monitoring the reeds for the slightest tremor of sound. The water is a mirror, perfectly still. But beneath the murk, death lies motionless, like a rotting log. The Nile crocodile, unaltered through millions of years of evolution. Over 20 feet long and weighing nearly 2,200 pounds, he is aquatic death personified. His primary weapon is the massive jaw, delivering 5,000 pounds of force per square inch. Unlike the lion or the hippo, the crocodile hunts with lethal precision and absolute stillness. He can fast for weeks, waiting for the perfect moment to vanish like a phantom. In this wild world, the crocodile does not hunt by instinct. He hunts because he was born to kill.